NCNF के तरफ से हम we did research. एक साल पूरा हमने research किया था. There were around 250 bio input resource centers in the country, across the country, South India, Madhya Pradesh, North India, and all spread across. And we carried out a research of how to do these, what is the element of it, because this does come out as a very good entrepreneurial model as well, that the farmers can additional income source it is, right? So we have been carrying out training programs for farmers and entrepreneurs on the ground, and community resource persons who can train others on setting up these bioinput resource centers. So I would invite my colleague Kuriakos Jr. To give a brief introduction about the BRC Center, what it is, what is the advantage of it, why the need came in, and how can BRCs help in as an extension tool, especially on the grassroots levels. So I invite Kurian to share us the small brief.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm not delaying anymore since it's afternoon. And Ajit Kelkaji have given a detailed session, very detailed session on the importance of bio inputs and how to prepare them and what is the dosage and all. And along with that, we have noticed many of our participants giving their comments such as we should be initiating such centers. When we mentioned regarding bio input resource centers, many of the participants mentioned that we should be having such centers to elevate agroecology or sustainable agriculture in our nation. So we too had the same thought almost a year before, and as a result, we went for a detailed field visits, especially in the southern parts of India and also in Madhya Pradesh and some northern parts, where some of the organizations have initiated such centers where they market or sell bio inputs. And we did a field visits to these places and identify many of the gaps in which we can involve. So, as a result, we came up with an idea of providing trainings to organizations, farmers, field level functionaries, farmer associations on initiating a single space or a one stop center in which they can sell and market the bio inputs. So, on transitioning to agroecology based farming, the lack of availability of bio inputs were the major issue when we were having a discussion with farmers on moving to more sustainable manner of agriculture. The lack of availability of bio inputs was the major issue that we came across. So why is bio input availability a challenge? Why? Which all are the aspects behind that? One is multiple inputs. There are various concoctions available in different parts. As Kelkarji have mentioned, he got the idea of buttermilk from an old lady in Maharashtra. He is based in Madhya Pradesh. So when we go to Karnataka, we will get called new bio inputs. In Andhra Pradesh, there will be lot many other. So in each microclimatic region, there are huge number of bio inputs used for various diseases and soil health management activities. So there are multiple inputs, lack of availability of more raw materials. For an easy example, in various states, cow dung and cow urine will be easily available. But for example, in Kerala, cow dung and cow urine is which is a raw material that might not be an easily available raw material. Shorter lifespan of the bio inputs. I mean, there are bio inputs that should be used within 48 hours of preparation to bio inputs that will last even for 6 months. And poor market demand for bio inputs. The market for the bio inputs in local areas is too low. So these were all the challenges that made bio inputs availability as case one. So we decided to pitch into this gap and solve these issues to make a bio input resource center, which is a for-profit enterprise, which is a one-stop center that will make available all the locally prepared products or formulations specific to that agroecological zone for purchase and use by farmers. We will have a back-end bio input production unit, which even have a capacity for doorstep delivery of inputs to required farmers. A local enterprise, BRC is a local enterprise with a mini turnover potential of 3 lakhs annually, which is anchored by individual entrepreneurs, hosted by FPOs or SLGs, can be any. What does a typical BRC offer to the farmers? As I mentioned, it is a one-stop center for preparation and marketing of bio inputs, which includes all the inputs that Kelkarji just mentioned, and also traps and sprays and other equipments that can be used for agroecology or sustainable agriculture. A bioinput resource center can also provide raw materials required for the preparation by farmers itself. And also they are a key center in which they act as a knowledge sharing center. They share the knowledge regarding agroecology and organic farming to farmers, those who are new to organic farming. In Chittoor district of Andhra Pradesh, we have visited a BRC in which they created a local WhatsApp group in which the by entrepreneur has now become a local doctor for the farmers who will suggest. Like the farmer will just take a photograph of the new disease or a new insect that has appeared in his field, and the entrepreneur will suggest which bio inputs can be used against this, and the farmer will come to the bio input unit, which at which the already prepared input will be there, and they will sell that input to the farmer. So such centers are now very active in Andhra Pradesh and also now in Madhya Pradesh. List of bio inputs. I'm sure that there are a lot of bio inputs available there. Ilkarji have mentioned many. We can categorize them into four, as you can see in the slide. Biostimulants, which are animal based and microbial based. Animal based such as Ganajivamridam, Vermivash, Bijamridam, Jivamridam, etc. And microbial based biostimulants such as waste decomposer, TSB, ZSB, etc. Biopesticides, again, which can be of two types, microbial and botanical. Microbial is Bavaria, Verticillium, Trichoderma, Pseudomonas, and botanical such as Neemastram, Desapernicashayam, Panchagavya, etc. And raw materials which can be shared in BRC units such as cow urine, mother cultures for various microbial formulations I have mentioned such as Verticillium and Trichoderma and all. Input ingredients required such as jaggery and other basic requirements like gas or any other basic requirements to prepare the biostimulants or biopesticides, plant leaves. And other materials such as sprayers, pheromone traps, light traps, sticky traps, such kind of utensils that is used for sustainable agriculture can also be sold in bioinput resource centers. And this is a data that on the possibility of bioinput resource center in a gram panchayat or in a block. Like there is a huge possibility of bioinputs if the farmers are turning into agroecology based farming. This is just a slide that is showing the existing BRCs. APDMP project have initiated almost nearly like 105 BRCs in Andhra Pradesh. AKRSPI is having in BRC units in Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. Tunnel, an organization is Kerala, is running a mobile BRC unit that is working in non-profit manner. These data were collected before we were starting our training sessions. Now we have completed 5 training sessions, and after which we have initiated almost nearly 30 BRC centers across Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and West Bengal, and Jharkhand. And elements of establishing a BRC, just it is mentioned here. We need BRC entrepreneurs, technological innovations, support and help from the CSO side, institutional convergence, such like now Manage is doing, and also NABARD, NIPHMs, and other KVKs, technical capacity building and knowledge transfer. Business model demonstration is very important to scale up the market of bioinputs, and input production and quality assurance, which is a key sector. And BRC entrepreneur, I might have mentioned various points that is related to this area. We need a practicing natural farmer for an experience with 3 to 5 years in natural farming. An SG or family can be an entrepreneur. They should have all the possible facilities for collecting raw materials in area for preparing it and storing this without any possible damage. And the role of an entrepreneur can be prepare and sell this bio inputs, sale of pheromone traps, train the farmers who are new to organic farming or natural farming, share the knowledge of agroecological practices. The business model, like if we go very fast through this, we can start small with initiating with bio inputs that is very needed or which is much used in that local area. Along with the market is increasing, we can introduce more and more new bio inputs into the start, which will suffice the use of or the need of farmers in that particular area. We can start small and elaborate from that. And cost of setting up a BRC, the BRC can start small with a plant and animal based inputs we have mentioned earlier and expand to microbial inputs later. A small BRC unit would cost nearly like 75,000 rupees for initial costing for starting a small BRC unit, nearly 75,000. This costing is inclusive of all the production requirement and microbial formulations. Uh, and large, this is a small bio input resource center. But for mentioning, we have large scale input preparations also very active in Telangana, like Andhra Pradesh Kadri under Vasan. We have a huge area in collecting the cow dung and cow urine, and we are preparing the Jivamradam that is utilized by all the farmers in a huge area. And this Jivamradam is prepared in a large quantity by sourcing cow dung and cow urine through mechanical pathways, and we are preparing huge quantity of the Jivamradam which is used by the farmers. In the same tone, I would also like to mention that JNKV, Jawaharlal Nehru Krishi Vidyapeeth in Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh, is also preparing microbial cultures in the same manner in huge quantities, and they are selling it to the farmers, ready-made microbial cultures. So such large-scale units are also available in our states, in different parts of our country. This is just the layout of the above mentioned Jivamradam unit in Andhra Pradesh, in which they collect the raw materials from different parts and make it into the bio input at a single center and provide these bio input to different parts of the panchayat. And technical capacity building, a very short session on what we are providing in the training session. We will be providing sessions on soil sciences, soil health management, understanding the life cycle of pest management and diseases, theory and practicals. How to prepare the theory and practicals, on-field practicals of biostimulants, biofertilizers, and biopesticides, including microbial conversions. Business model preparation and planning to set up a BRC unit and exposure visit to functional BRC units. We are we have identified various resource agencies, of which some of them are mentioned below, like KVK Agadipalli, JNKV Jabalpur, Abhinav Organs, like Ajit Khelkar and Ravi Khelkar in Madhya Pradesh, Parbhani University in Maharashtra, and now we have Gujarat Organic Agriculture University in Rajasthan, and also Maharana Pratap University of Agriculture and Technology in Rajasthan. We have conducted 4 training sessions, and after the preparation of this slide, we have completed one more training session in Gujarat. In 5 training sessions, almost like 150 participants have taken the session, and almost nearly 30 PRC units are established already within the gap of 8 months. Now we are the next training session conducted will be on Madhya Pradesh from 10th of this month to 16th of this month. Most probably, we will be having our next training session in Rajasthan by the end of May. And in between the session provided by Kelkarji, some of the participants mentioned that the data of how to prepare these things is very critical, and it should be released on, it should be available to all the farmers. We also understand the requirement of that data. A BRC technical manual on how to initiate a BRC, also how to prepare each bio inputs, the dosage of bio inputs, the usage of bio inputs, and also the time periods in which these bio inputs should be used on the field and the uses. We have collected the data from various resource agencies, including Kelkar Brothers, and the English data or English technical manual is already prepared, and it will be releasing hopefully in this month. And we are working ahead to release this data in each languages like mother tongues like Gujarati, Marathi, Odia, Tamil, Kannada, and all. We will be working ahead to release this specific technical manual in each local languages, and also video documentation of how to prepare this bio inputs. Videos are also in the final stage of editing. We will be releasing the video documentation process most probably in May, and we will be it will be available to all the people in our nation, not restricted. It will be available to all the fellow people who are
So,
interested in agroecology. And there is only one point that we haven't mentioned very thoroughly in the above slides that I will mention here. One is that currently we are making a directory of the bio input resource centers already initiated by our participants. Now we will be also having training sessions or booster sessions for them, which will make them a potential resource center, which can again open up new BRC centers for new farmers or new FPOs in their own locality. Uh, and yes, as I mentioned, we are going ahead with the new training sessions in different parts of the nation. Yeah,
The
I
most
think
key, I think the key next steps which comes here, which Kurian in the PPT it's mentioned, is convergence with institutional convergence, uh,
correct,
because a lot of the bio inputs, their certification and quality parameters have to be judged.
correct,
On-field experience tells us that it is there, but there is still scope for a lot of errors, manual error while preparation. So there are quality level work. We need to do the research there. So that is one thing definitely there. Another research is to find resource organizations or agencies from where we can source some of these inputs. Because someone in Bihar cannot be expected to go to Hyderabad to collect the mother culture. So that has been a big challenge. So we are trying to find resource agency in every state wise, every region, so that they have easy access to those inputs. So this is the quick brief presentation on the BRCs, and I thank Kurian for sharing it to give the whole thing. I'll just quickly answer some of the questions that have been put in the group. Yes, individual farmers can open up, can start their own BRCs. We advise that the farmer is has been practicing organic or natural farming since at least 3 years. The reason being, in the store, it is not just selling the product, it's also telling the others about what the practices are, when to use it, how to use it effectively. So it's also a knowledge sharing center. So if the farmer knows the practices really well, then it becomes easier to spread the message. So a minimum requirement of 3 years is what we suggest, so that full cycle, the farming cycle is also the farmer has experienced the farming cycles. So yes, they can start a small BRC. Different kinds of support is there on the ground. Like for example, NABARD and many of the NABARD supported FPOs are actually supporting farmers in opening up these BRCs. So if they are very small and marginal farmers, then they have the capacity. If they have the capacity to have a shed, they just need a shed place to start their own BRC. And to in order to share the ownership and accountability with the farmer also, we advise that certain infrastructure cost is taken up by the farmer as well, and the remaining can be supported by the donors. So in APDMP project, for all the equipments like the fridge and the vessels and all of those, the APDMP people, the project gave money for that. They gave around 75,000 rupees to the farmers for that, and the remaining cost was of the farmer itself. So yes, these can also be done by SHGs. They can be done by a group of farmers. They can be done by CSOs. They can be done by KVKs as well. Like KVK Yagantipalli, they have their own centers as well. So it can be done by multiple set of people. Yes. Process to start. The manual that Kurian was just mentioning, how to start it. So we are in the final stage of releasing the manual, the technical manual to start the BRC and what can be sold at the BRC. We will be launching that soon, so we'll definitely circulate it with all of you once it is done. Assistance by bank, we have to explore that. There are agencies like Rangde and NABARD, like I mentioned, who have reached out supporting. They've said there are, but we have to explore more of these options, especially since they are very small, cost effective, and it's not a very high budget. There are quite a lot of positive response from people. Tested and researched, animal based biostimulants. The list is actually long. We have been able to curate around 35 to 40 inputs: botanicals, non botanicals, microbials, animal based. everything. We have been able to curate the proper dosage, the preparation method, everything. So in the manual, which we'll be releasing soon, you should be able to get the step-by-step process of all of that. Tested and researched, most of them are community knowledge, to be honest. Some are being tested and researched, but yes, there is a huge requirement for research to be done. But they are very much community researched and community approved practices, most of them. Also to be noted is हर जगह पे the agroclimatic zone is very different. So in many regions, the inputs that can be used is also very different. So in some tribal areas, they might have their own inputs as well. So it depends on the local context as well. So that is very much to be noted. And some of these BRCs can also act as places where you can sell seeds, small machinery tools. They can also sell saplings and traps and those kind of products as well. And there was a question on the existing newly opened 30 BRCs. So we are in the process of conducting their research, on field research, and uh, at least all these 30 which started in like October, August of last year, these are new ones. They have been able to continue, and they are expanding. They're increasing the number of BRCs. So the details are being, we are doing the feedback process and continuous support to them is going on. But the detail of list of BRCs in on the ground newly opened, we should be able to share soon as well. But the proper research is to be conducted. Yes.
Madam,
Yes.
in addition to the NABARD, which agencies are providing the funding for this? You have mentioned.
Yeah, NABARD has FPO supporting provisions. So as part of that, the FPOs then support the BRC entrepreneurs.
One more agency you have named.
NIPHM.
Run the
Then
Is there provision RKUI? Yes.
Yes.
As a startup?
No.
start also they can start if there is a
Yeah.
that area they can start. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Riya. Thank you for all the delegates here. And
Thank you for a nice session.
yeah, thank you, Ajay Kelkar. Last minute he joined. Actually, he has a very good, wonderful input he has given. Thank you, all of you.